All right, so it's been a few days and I got to put this guy through honestly a few weddings and a full-blown portrait shoot. And I gotta say, I am highly impressed. Hey guys, my name is Chris, otherwise known as CHIPxHAZARD, and I'm a photographer and videographer here in Florida. And I just got the A7RV, and it's a beast. I did a first impressions like open box kind of thing. Thank you guys for all the new subscribing. Appreciate it. Today we're just kind of like touching on everything that I've only had it for like a week, and it has impressed me so much. Literally unboxed it, and the next day shot a wedding with it. I know a lot of people wouldn't do that, but I've already shot with Sony, so I already kind of know how it works. But first of all, autofocus. Can we just say like how crazy good the autofocus is? I did kind of like a test run on this with the ZV-E1, which is why I picked that up, because they introduced the whole AI autofocus thing, and I was a little, I don't know, skeptical of it, you could say, because I'm like, it's a $2,000 camera, like surely the AI autofocus can't be like that good. Side note, it is that good, and it's crazy impressive. I shoot on the Canon R3, and it's now leaving my bag because of this. This thing is insane. The autofocus rivaled, and that kind of hurts to say because the R3 is like double the price of this thing. Now, I will say the R3 is better in low light, but that is also a stacked backside illuminated sensor. As I believe this is just backside illuminated. I don't think it's stacked. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to double check. But as far as low light goes, that camera, the R3, does much better than this. I could shoot that camera photo wise at like 10,000 ISO and it's perfectly fine. Little noise and everything like that. This, you do get noise. It is fairly easy to clean up, but I'm comfortable shooting this one all the way up to like 64. So it's not quite there, but it's pretty darn close. And there's not a lot of times where I'm like at 10,000 ISO. So that's not necessarily like a need for me. But going back to autofocus, the dual pixel autofocus on the Canon R3 was, when I bought it, the best autofocus I've used. So the fact that the ZV-E1 and the R5, A7RV, rival that, it's just an easier lineup to keep up with. Like, I don't want to have two R3s. Like, that's a lot of money to drop when something half the price and triple the resolution can pretty much keep hands with it. Like, there are probably times where in low light, the R3 might do a little better, but I'm not in those situations a ton, so that didn't really make too much of a difference for me. Now, on the video side of things, this is where I'm more impressed with Sony, is this camera got all of the same profiles and everything as all the other Sony cameras. So color matching, S-Log3, S-Cinetone, you get all those nice color profiles in this camera, as well as the ZV-E1, as well as every other Sony camera there is. This is one thing that I cannot stand, especially when it comes to video, about Canon. Like, I paid $6,500 for an R3. I want C-Log2. There's no reason why it shouldn't be in there. It's not like the camera can't handle it. Like, C-Log2 is not just for cinema. Like, we're past that point. Like, your hybrid cameras can handle anything your camera can do. It's just about size and doing back and forth things. Like, this does both of those. So it just doesn't make any sense. Color matching these cameras has been way easier. Right now, the ZV-1 is a B camera video wise, and this one kind of stays with me. And the stabilization, crazy good. 4K 60. There's a little crop, which is why I went with the 20 to 40 Tamron lens instead of a 24 to 70, which I'll probably still end up picking up. But as far as like running around and everything, this lens has been great, and the stabilization in body has been more than enough. All right, so you've been seeing like a bunch of footage and all that kind of stuff and examples over this while I've been talking, but let's talk about the photo image quality because I've used to be an R5 owner. I've rented the A7R4, but I feel like there's even more detail in this camera than there was in those. And I'm pretty sure this has the same sensor as the R4, and this just has like newer chips and everything. So there's something going on. Maybe it's processing or something like that. Or maybe I'm just better at editing photos. Probably the latter is false, but you know. Or maybe it's the lens I'm using can resolve the sensor better, but I was using a G Master with the other one, so I don't know if that's true either. But I feel like these photos here are just super crispy. They the detail's insane. Like some of these huge wide full body shots, I can zoom all the way into like 500% and see her eyelashes. That's crazy. That's like insane detail, and I have been loving every bit of it. I can crop the same photo into like 6 different shots. It's been great. I am like totally in love with this camera, and I will have to say, so far usability wise, the screen. I know everyone touches on it, but like it really does make a huge difference because there's times where you're working with a photographer on a wedding day and you're shooting video where you can't always stay like this and you have to work with somebody else. And flipping this out to the side sometimes solves that. Or even if you're shooting like this, where you're butted up against the wall, but you still need to see your screen, or it's like some funky angle, like you can pull it out and like, I don't know. It's just been the one of the best features of this, and I'm really hoping they put it in every other camera. I know it's in the A9 III, but like it needs to go on every camera. Like A7 V and everything else moving forward, this screen is a must. It's just, I mean, you could bump up the resolution, that'd be fine, but the axis thing needs to be there. All right, and lastly, and I know this is on a bunch of different cameras now, but the switch just underneath that kind of helps you swap from photo to video in S&Q mode. I love that it has like a little notch, like a little button that you have to push in order to switch it. So my R3, it just flicks over. And it's a pretty sturdy switch, so accidentally hitting it can happen, but it's a little more on the rare side. But with this, because you have to intentionally push the button, it never flips, and I love that. And it's super handy. So with that being said, it's safe to say I am very extremely happy with my purchase of the A7R5, and man, this is now my A cam for photos and video, and I couldn't be happier with this purchase. So now we just need to add some lenses to this lineup. And also, if you're interested in the R3, hit me up because it's for sale. I'll see you guys in the next one.